Hello and welcome back. Thank you, as always, for tuning in here today, and especially for your dedication and commitment to your spiritual practice, whatever that looks like for you. That is the highest and best form of offering you could ever give anyone, anywhere, at any time. I often say that because it's worth emphasizing. It really is. I wish to emphasize that it's very, very important to each and every living thing, what you're doing, just by taking a few minutes out of your day or out of your evening to pay attention to this video. It's a huge deal. So I thank you for that. We're going through the text of A Course in Miracles here on this series of videos, and well, it's long, isn't it? The text is, well, it's long and it's full of good stuff. And we've been taking a pause out of this procession a lot lately to answer specific questions of yours, which we'll do again today on this video. I very much thank you for the questions, to all of you who do ask them. I invite everyone to do this because, as a guide, which is what this pixelated image on your screen really is, I'm very interested in what's coming up for you all live. It's worth talking about because I guarantee you that if you have a question, there are plenty of other people on this spinning ball of rock that have the exact same question and will benefit greatly, very, very profoundly from your asking. So the question today is about the body, the fact that we're not a body. Oh, by the way, if you're new to this course, you're not a body. There is no world. You heard that right. I'm always curious how people react to that at first. There are many possible reactions, aren't there? From, oh, yeah, someone finally came out and said that. I've always known. Yeah. To, what are you actually talking about? No. So it runs the gamut from a deep inner knowing and sense of recognition all the way to an abject rejection, resistance, extraordinary resistance. People's resistance to learning this course is extraordinary, as you may have discovered on your own journey. So, what do we do with that? Well, we use the tools that we're taught here. True forgiveness of everything that is not wholly joyous. And that's an opportunity for true forgiveness. And we lean on and trust the guidance of our inner teacher, the Holy Spirit. We ask for guidance. When you're asking the Holy Spirit for guidance, you're asking that part of your mind that knows who, what, and where we all are, really, and looks beyond the illusion. There is no world. That's an illusion. You're not a physical body either. That too is an illusion. I'm fond of pointing to this communication device and saying, which is technically true, it's a pixelated image on your screen. Exactly. That has definitely very different layers of meaning, all of them. It's accurate. It's a pixelated image on your screen. In other words, when you're looking at this, there's nothing special about this. It's an assemblage of electronic dots constellated to look like a middle-aged man from Arizona. What is that but a form that we can relate to? What are these sounds that I'm uttering but a language that we speak? Or that you may not speak as your first language necessarily, but these videos are disseminated in the collection of sounds that we refer to as English to reach the maximum number of people possible. That is no accident at all. Not at all. So the question relates to, well, the body and how A Course in Miracles is different than other traditions. In fact, it appears to contradict them in many places. Now, why is that the case? Well, it's saying something completely different. It is. This collection of videos is based on A Course in Miracles. It is not based on any other traditions. And therefore, what appears to come out of Pixelated Image's mouth is directly based on and related to and what the Course says. That's what we're talking about here. Yeah, it says different things. There is no world. Let's start with that premise. We're often fond of saying that the people that seem the most real to us, how we subjectively assign a label real, are grounded, this or down to earth. Yeah, something like that. Authentic, maybe, as opposed to plasticine, phony, and fake. Yeah. Labels that we assign to our brother, we say, okay, well, this person seems legit. They seem like a genuine dude, a genuine lady. They're grounded. They're down to earth. Enter A Course in Miracles. What earth? What body? This course is fundamentally different than just about every single spiritual tradition out there, including the traditional world religions and other forms of spirituality, including plant medicine traditions. This question references ayahuasca, with which, by the way, I have direct experience as well. I've had ayahuasca on three separate occasions and three separate ceremonies spread out over a period of about a year and a half. Yeah, and not that long ago in terms of linear time either. So, for those of you who don't know, I have been deeply interested in spirituality my entire life. I was raised in not one, but two fundamentalist Christian traditions. I'm very familiar with Christianity, with the Bible, and I'm also very familiar with Buddhism, which I've studied and practiced for a number of years too, and plant medicine traditions, yeah, and shamanism and things like that. The Course found me, not the other way around, in 2013, and it has been the practical and primary centerpiece of my own spiritual practice since then. And this is certainly something that you may be called to adopt as your primary practice. If you are, fantastic. If you are not, that is also fantastic. There are many doors in spirituality. Not everyone has to open this one and go in, right? I mean, that's true. And the fact that there are many doors happens to explain the breadth, the depth, the diversity of world spiritual traditions. All doors open onto the same place, God. They all lead to God in the end. Now, how can we say this? With 100% certainty and zero equivocation, God is the only reality. Hmm. Does that resonate deeply somehow with you, maybe? Hmm. God is the only reality. All else is illusion. Spinning ball of rock, wobbling through space on its axis, illusion. Illusion. And you may have the experience of resisting that idea, not a problem. Part of the beauty of A Course in Miracles lies in the fact that it is a self-study curriculum. This image that you see on your screen, that's an assemblage of electronic dots. It's not in charge of you. Thank God. That's the last thing that a pixelated image wants, is to be in charge of people. No, thank you, right? Our own egos are quite enough for all of us to cope with. What I'm saying here is that A Course in Miracles is not a religion. It is not a cult. The world does not need another one of those in any way, does it? We take what we're called to take, or what we are willing to take at a given time under the guidance of our inner teacher. And I stress the moniker inner teacher often because I want to make that abundantly clear. Inner teacher. This course says things that, well, appear to contradict other traditions. All right. It says what it says. Right? It does. It says what it says. Other traditions say what they say as well. And a tradition such as a plant medicine tradition, such as ayahuasca or psilocybin or peyote or any of the other plant medicine traditions, have messages for each of us as individuals. Well, the Course states that what individuals? There is only perfect oneness. So, a message that you get from another tradition could appear to be directly contravened and contradicted by this course. So be it, right? We could choose to study this course exclusively as our standalone spiritual practice, or we can use it as many people do, which is perfectly legit. It's self-study, after all. Many people use the ideas from A Course in Miracles to help augment their walk in another tradition, whether it's Christianity or one of the traditional religions or something else, or a combination of all of the above. That's also possible. It's all existent right here, and we have access to everything here in the 21st century just by using a search on the internet. Plenty of people take these ideas and use them to illuminate their own walk in another tradition, which is perfectly fine. That's a very common use of A Course in Miracles. So let's just address the fact that it says what it says. Therefore, this video says what it says. There's a very real message in that. You may receive messages that, well, this course challenges. Welcome. A Course in Miracles is what's known as a direct approach, a purely non-dual approach. So what I mean by that is it points us directly to reality without dancing around. We go through life incorrectly assuming many things, mistakenly assuming many things, like this is us. No, it's not us. Deep down, we all know that, or we would not be interested in spiritual practice at all. There's more to it than just the needs of physical communication device that's 80% water to begin with, and highly breakable, isn't it? Smashable and fallible, subject to disease, dismemberment, and decay. Yeah, that is not the Son of God. We all do know this. So, the extent to which we're willing to recognize that, well, that's going to appear to differ, isn't it? Because you may be experiencing some extraordinary resistance to the ideas here. Here's the deal. Nobody is saying you have to agree with what this course says. It is very direct. It tells it like it is. I mean, really is. Things are not as they appear. And we do, deep down, know that. Are we willing, in fact, to accept that? Well, that can turn out to be another question entirely, and one that only you can answer for yourself, which is, by the way it should be. It is. It's the way it should be. Nobody in this course is involved in a hierarchy. It's not hierarchical. This isn't in charge of you again. Thank God. That's the last thing it wants. For sure. Yeah, no thanks, right? We do something here as we study this course that's very profound. We allow ourselves to be led each and every day. We allow ourselves to be led by our inner teacher as far as we're willing, or we find ourselves able to be led that day. As far as we're willing to go that day. And then we get up tomorrow and we do the exact same thing. It's rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. It's not shiny. It's not a shiny object. It's work, which, I mean, that really does, in fact, apply to spirituality in general, doesn't it? So, yeah. There is no world. There's no death either, by the way. The Son of God is free. You're not a body. Things are not as they seem. This course points that out. Does this cause you a panic? Hopefully not, but the resistance to learning this material is extraordinary. And if you're on this path and you are a course student, you'll know precisely what I'm talking about. And if you have not discovered this extraordinary internal resistance to the truth, you're going to, sorry, it's going to come up. Why? It is the ego that is resistant. It's the ego that wants us to go back to something more comfortable, which of course is not comfortable at all, or we wouldn't be interested in this. Out of all the other content available on the internet, here you are. Yeah, there is no world. Here you are. Apparently, yeah. Things are not as they seem in the world. It is illusion. And who and what we are is beyond all of this. And you do know who, what, and where that is, by the way. Yeah, remember the only reality. One equals one. The Son of God is known as the thought of God here in this course, the extension of God. What's direct, again, that word, directly relevant, like extends like, love, God, extends love, God extends himself. He does not extend the opposite of himself because there is no opposite. So to extend hate is impossible. Like extends like, and only like. The Son of God is the creation of God. God, in our creation, extends himself. I know you know this to be true. Doesn't mean that you have to agree. Far from it, right? As we've been saying on this and other videos, any number of reactions is possible. Any number. So, in truth, as a practical matter here, we're invited to really deeply consider this and contemplate this. Buddy, my dog, is contemplating this as we speak. He goes to the front door and is very fond of barking at the neighbors. Yeah, someone goes out into their driveway. Bark. On weekends, the neighbor children go past on the other side of the street, mind you, on their tricycles, and he loses his mind. So his appearance here is absolutely free and unplanned. So the question, okay, about this course appearing to contradict other traditions, well, the purpose is not to say that anyone or anything else is wrong. This is not one of those traditions that says, okay, our building is the best. This building across the street where people go to the building on a different day than us is wrong. It's not like that. The Course simply lays out an approach that, if we choose to follow it, will lead us directly to truth. It's a direct approach. We say we want this in the world, especially in the business world, don't we? We say we want people to be direct. There is no world. We want people to get to the bottom line. You are not a body. You know this. Yeah. We want people to cut right to the chase. Things are not as they appear. It's up to us to relax and trust the guidance of our inner teacher. This course aims to turn our perception right side up. It is upside down. We don't see things as they are. Should you choose to study and practice A Course in Miracles, you will be led lovingly and as far as you're able and willing to be led at a given time along the path to correcting your perception. When our perception is completely clarified, corrected, when we see things as they really are, as in there's no separation of any kind, truth dawns of itself. That is awakening. So, what do we need to do first? Learn to see truly. Should you choose to follow this material, you'll be led a long way, a very long way, along that path. So the question for each and every one of us is, are we going to allow ourselves to be so led today? And as always, it is your choice as to how far you wish to be led. You don't have to continue watching this or any of these videos. I mean, obviously, people come and go. Yet, let's consider what's really directly relevant. Something has spoken to you because you're still watching. And many of you have returned to watch more than one video where you'll notice extraordinary repetition. We're saying the same things over and over again. The Course says the same things over and over again in slightly different words. Therefore, this video says the same things over and over again in slightly different words. This series of videos exists to share the Holy Spirit with you. Something inevitably will land in any conversation. When it does, it is the Holy Spirit speaking to you. It is not pixelated image on your screen. That's what appears to be talking, and I do emphasize appears to be talking. Now, does this mean that we can't live our normal lives? Well, certainly not. We can be as normal as we want to. Pixelated image works in the insurance industry. Talk about an industry that's made up. Like the entire world, we have lives. You may have bills to pay. I can relate to that. You may have a mortgage payment or a rent payment. Again, I can relate to that. Yeah, we show up and we live life. Why is that important? Well, because it's entirely possible to live our normal, so-called normal daily lives and be a deeply devoted, deeply, just a deep practitioner of this material. It is entirely possible to navigate this world and not believe in its reality at all. That's what's going on right here. This is a form to which you can relate. It's a language which you understand. Your human form is a form to which people can relate. There are people out there, and I mean this with 100% sincerity. There are people out there that will learn best from you. They will hear the message of the Holy Spirit better through you than through me or anyone else. In other words, you're meant to reach them. How? In a form that they can relate to without being plunged off the cliff of existential dread, which would be most unkind. That's why we're not instantaneously awakened in a blinding flash where the Holy Spirit rips the veil off so we can see. Now, he won't do that. We have to remove it ourselves. So most of us get what looks like a process, a gradual program where we allow ourselves to be led as far as we're willing to allow ourselves to be led on a given day. That is the invitation here for each and every one of us. So, want to wake up? Excellent. Forgive the Son of God. Allow your inner teacher to run the show, and you will be led out on that. So I very much appreciate this question and all of the others. And again, I want to extend the invitation to you to ask them. This course is very different, isn't it? It does not own truth. It has no monopoly on truth. Truth is not property. It cannot be owned by one building that claims to be superior to another building across the street. Yeah, none of that, please. Thank you. Let's dispense with that, shall we? Truth is not property. It simply is, and this course points you to it. Will you look? I hope so. I hope so. If you have not yet subscribed, I'd love to have you do that. This is the prompt in the corner of your screen, that arrow. Click that, hover over that. You'll be invited to join us, and I hope that you do that. These videos talk about A Course in Miracles. So, to the extent that you have questions, again, please feel welcome to leave them. I am more than happy to pause the parade of messages and conversations about the text, which will still be there, by the way, when we get back. It's always there. Maybe calling you right now saying, open up to a random page. There's a message for you. We'll see you soon.